He's got bright rosy cheeks and a fluffy white beard with marshmallow walls and a big red chair. Santa's coming.
Hello, sports fans. Santa here, and this is Santa Has a Podcast. And I want to welcome you all back. This is where we get to talk about fun things. We do a little bit of laughing and talk about what's going on at the North Pole. And, of course, we've got to get right into what's going on this week. We're going to talk a little bit about sports at the North Pole. But before we do that and jump into that, we're going to talk about our riddle from last week. And I hope all of you remember the riddle, and maybe you found out the answer on the riddle. So let me read the riddle to you again and see if you got the right answer. Okay, here's the riddle. I live up north, and I work with cheer, making toys as Christmas nears. In red and green with pointy shoes, I help make magic. Who am I? Do you know? That's right, it's an elf. In fact, it's all of the elves. They work so hard up north, they work with cheer, and they do so much work as Christmas nears. That's a lovely little poem. And yes, they love red and green. Sometimes they wear white. Some of the girls like pink once in a while, too. And I have a few elves, I don't know why, they like purple. But, they wear all different colors, and they have pointy shoes and all kinds of things. But, just like you don't wear the same thing your best friend wears, right? The elves are the same way. They all like to wear a little bit of different. They like their own personality and stuff like that. So it's kind of neat. Well, today we're going to talk fun facts and a little bit about sports. Yes, Sports has a great tie-in with Christmas, you may not think it, but of course, in addition to the fact that we do make a lot of footballs and basketballs and baseballs and bats and gloves and all the sporting gear that many of you children ask for. So the elves take care of making all that stuff. That's the sports and the game stuff that you play with. But guess what? The elves love sports too. They like playing in their own sports. Yes. The Thanksgiving and and football have a long time past together. The very first Thanksgiving football game was played in 1876, and that was at Thanksgiving. But we were getting ready for Christmas, so it kind of tied in with everything. And of course, millions of families watch football on TV every year, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas Day. And the NFL's Turkey Day is one of the biggest football games. Sometimes you'll see the Macy's Christmas parade, right? With Santa in it. And then you turn around and watch a football game. So it's a popular pastime in the Christmas season to have sports like that. Now, you're probably wondering, what is Santa's favorite sport? Well, I have this little body of mine, which is kind of round and jolly shaped and everything like that. So I can play basketball against the elves. I'm pretty good at that because I'm so tall I can dunk real easy. But that's not really my favorite sport. My favorite pastime at sports is watching the reindeer games. And that goes on every November. Every year at the North Pole, the reindeer compete in fun challenges to see who's the most agile, who is the fastest, who can jump the farthest, who can pull the biggest load, and things like that. And so it is kind of neat. And we might call it jingle bell jumping to see how high they can jump. And then of course the pulling the loads, who can pull a sleigh with more toys in it, and that's to see what it is. By the way, the winner every year seems to be either Donder or Blitzen. They're the biggest reindeer around, and they're so strong, and they win that part all the time. Now you're wondering who wins the fastest race. Well, sometimes it's Dasher or Dancer, or Prancer, because they're the fastest and most agile. But every once in a while, we get a new reindeer out there that comes in, and so they get a little bit of a challenge. But it makes it kind of neat to have all these things. But they're all trying to get in shape. They're getting into condition because the biggest game of all is what? Christmas Eve. Yes, that's our big goal, is to have everybody ready for Christmas Eve. We can have all of you together getting your toys and things like that because the reindeer practiced in the games, they got strong, they got agile, and we were able to make all the deliveries so that you would be happy on Christmas morning. Does that sound neat? Yes, that's how it all works. Well, it is fun to know all these things about sports, the North Pole, and things like that. And holidays and sports kind of go together like peanut butter and jelly. just really, fun type things. So right now, though, I want to find out a little bit more about sports maybe, and we're going to go over to Candy Cane Square and check in with our wonderful correspondent, Chatter Snowglitz. So Chatter, take it away.
Oh, thank you, Santa. It's snowflakes and sleigh bells here with Chatter Snowglitz reporting live from Candy Cane Square, where the Cocoa Machine is always working overtime. So let's see what's happening around town today. Well, we are in the middle of Santa's Sleigh Strong Challenge because Santa always says, strong arms means a strong sleigh. Santa himself was even spotted this morning doing gift lift squats and cookie curls as part of his Sleigh Strong Challenge. Our head toy maker, Tinsel Toes, completed 50 gift lift squats and 25 cookie curls before breakfast. Wow, Tinsel Toes, way to go! And Mrs. Claus, being the best that she always is, served protein cookies and cheered the rest of us on from the sidelines. Thanks for always being our biggest supporter, Mrs. Claus. This is reporting live from that touchdown full of tinsel with Chatter Snowglitz jingling out. It's back to you, Santa.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. All the great things out there. I got my workout in the morning with all the elves and things like that. They actually work much, much harder than I do. My work is more management, I think, sometimes, But anyway, whether you're cheering for your favorite team or galloping through the snowdrifts around your own neighborhood and things like that, it is fun to have different sports and different activities. Sometimes you can actually do some sports and some games by yourself. Sometimes you can go sledding by yourself. You can also go running or jogging by yourself. But sometimes, isn't it fun to play with your friends? You play basketball or baseball, or maybe you run together. Maybe play dodgeball. Is that kind of fun? How about passing a football? Are you good at passing a football? That's great. And I know a lot of the little young ladies out there, you're now playing soccer and getting out there in the soccer field and kicking the ball around, or playing lacrosse or different sports like that. And some people don't realize it. And I really call these sports tumbling and cheer and things like that are wonderful sports and wonderful activities. They're great for fitness and skill, and it's beautiful to watch all the kids get out there and have fun, whether they're playing sports or doing cheer and things like that. And so I get it's kind of fun, and sometimes it's competition, but I think it's nice just to know that you've accomplished something. I mean, how many tumbles did you do? How far could you kick the ball or throw the ball? Things like that, okay? Well, it's the big game season, coming up in Thanksgiving, and it's still a ways off, but it's coming soon, and we have to think about a holiday football. Families all across America gather around the TV right after the, Christmas parade on Thanksgiving morning, and they watch football. And as I mentioned, the NFL has been playing games on Thanksgiving since the 1920s. It's really a fun type thing. And on Christmas Day, there's a big NFL showdown. So we actually have football games on Christmas Day. So after you've gotten up in the morning and you've opened your presents and maybe had a little breakfast, started playing with your toys or gifts or whatever you got for Christmas, then all of a sudden the first football game comes on, and you can join together as a family and watch football and enjoy the sports on TV, have a little snack and things like that, But beyond regular football on TV, how about your own football? How many of you actually get with your friends or with your family and play football? Maybe a little flag football or something like that. In fact, if not football, any type of sport, it's nice that you can play the sports together and have fun together. I know I see a lot of daddies, when I give you a baseball or a baseball glove or a football or a soccer ball, and the daddies and the mommies get out there and they play with the kids. Isn't it neat? A little girl, she might take the soccer ball and she kicks it, and then daddy kicks it back, or kicks it over to mommy and mommy kicks it back. It's fun to play these sports together. It's part of, the joy of being with family and having a good time at Christmas. So think about the things you can do besides receiving the presents and opening the presents, is actually maybe going outside and playing with the presents. It can be a lot of fun. Yes. Let's see what else I've got on my list here today. the reindeer games. Many of you have heard me talking about the reindeer games and the reindeer getting together. Well, let me tell you a little bit about how we prepare for the reindeer games. Every December, the North Pole, has the reindeer getting ready to make all of their deliveries. But actually, in November, before Thanksgiving, we have the reindeer games. And that's when all the reindeer get together for a friendly competition, and the reindeer test their strength. You want to see who's the strongest, who's the most agile. And sometimes they do a little bit of silly stuff, silly skills and things like that. Events can include jingle bell jumping. Now, this is who can leap the farthest, okay? And while ringing all the bells on their harness, okay? So that's kind of a neat thing. And then they have the snow sprint. Now, the snow sprint is to see who's the fastest running in through the snow from one end to the other. Sometimes we have a 100-yard dash and a 200-yard dash. And then we also have a quarter mile, where we actually have the reindeer race a quarter mile in the snow to see who is the fastest. A couple of years ago, the elves thought the reindeer games needed some extra help, and they actually built a special arena at the North Pole where we could host the reindeer games. And every once in a while, the elves like to have their own soccer matches. They'll play soccer. What they do is they invite the leprechauns to come up to the North Pole and join them for a soccer game. So it's the leprechauns against the elves. So it's a pretty fair competition because they're all about the same height. It makes it great. Anyway, beyond the games that we play, we have the snow sprint, and this is where the reindeer sprint, and they run between tall poles, candy cane poles, to see who's the most agile. And then we have the hoof ball. Yes, it's not football, it's hoof ball, and it's a snowy version of football. And Dasher is kind of the person that seems to win, and Dasher's a great wide receiver, can get out there, and she's just fantastic. And then there's antler tug-of-war. Now, all the reindeer have antlers, okay? Well, they can take their antlers and hook them onto ropes and pull to see who's the strongest in pulling. And so the antler tug-of-war is a great, great event. And don't worry, they just use, rope. They pull the rope, but they don't use their antlers anymore. Now what they do is they can tie it onto their harness and see who can pull the hardest, because we don't want them to break their antlers or hurt their antlers, okay? They're very pointy and they're sharp, but sometimes they're not really great for hanging a lot of rope on. Well, sports and games remind us all to have fun, and that's the whole thing. We want to have fun. We also want to get exercise. And it's very important that you sometimes put down the games and things like that indoors. I know you're watching the podcast right now, but when this podcast is over, I would say, wouldn't it be neat to go outside and play a little bit, get some exercise, get some fresh air? That's the important thing about sports. You can get exercise and fresh air, and that's good for you. It makes you stronger. And I want you all to be strong. I want you to be healthy and, of course, enjoy your Christmas time. So it's good to get out there. And again, sometimes it's teamwork because you're playing with other people, but sometimes it's laughter and it's fun for everybody, and it can go a long way to make your jingling experience just so wonderful. Wow, all of that stuff about sports. I'm trying to remember my fun times, playing with the sports. Of course, it's a little hard at the North Pole. I get to do some weightlifting. Okay, that's kind of a bit of a sport. I do stretching exercises all the time because, some of the things I do, if I play tug-of-war, okay, when I do tug-of-war, I'm on one end of the rope and I've got about 100 elves on the other end of the rope. Yes, and I get to pull against them because I'm so big, So it's a little different type of thing. But some sports I have to do by myself, just like the push-ups and the weightlifting and things like that. But again, it makes it great. That's enough about sports. Now, are you ready for some giggles? Okay, you ready for a little laughing? I think it's time to get over to Rudolph and find out the latest on the jingle jokes that Rudolph has put together for this week. Take it away, Rudolph.
I'm ready, Santa. Why did the gingerbread man get picked for the football team? He was the first pick. Because he's a tough cookie. Okay, Santa, here's joke number 2. I think this is a hard question, Santa. It may be hard. You may not know the answer. Which one of the reindeer is the best with dance moves? Yes, it's Dancer.
Oh, Those jokes really slayed me, Rudolph. Okay, well, now it's time to peek into Santa's mailbag. It's time for Mailbox Magic. I hope all of you have been sending us notes and letters and things like that. These are all the notes and letters that you send us to our website, Santa Has a Podcast, and we will try to answer them for you. So let's get on to today's letters and notes and see what we have. The first, I have 2 letters here, okay? The first is from Ellie. Ellie is 7 years old, and the letter says on it, I gave my favorite toy to my cousin because she didn't have one. It made her really happy and made me feel happy too. Wow, Ellie, that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. That was a good deed that you did. It was something with kindness that you did. And of course, that's going to make our spirit meter go up, 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 up. And I guess one of the things I need to do because you did that is I have to think about something special for you for Christmas morning. I'm going to surprise you with something special because of your good deed. Is that a deal? Okay, great, great. I got another letter here. Let me see what else the next one is. The next one is from Henry. He's 10 years old. Yes. And he says, Dear Santa, I want to tell you I've been wearing my reindeer pajamas every night since I started listening. Wow. Well, I do hope you get to change your reindeer pajamas once in a while and get them washed because you wear them every night in a row, you know. But I know every week when we do this podcast, you can wear your reindeer pajamas. So you started listening. Now, what else did he have in his note? Oh, he says, my dog thinks it's funny when he hears Rudolph jokes. Wow, your dog understands Rudolph's jokes? That's fantastic. Well, I do appreciate your comments. I'm glad that we all have fun. In fact, I hope all of you children watching and all you adults watching enjoy Rudolph's jokes. They're a little crazy sometimes, but I love them too. It makes it fun to have joy, and that's what we want at the North Pole. We always like to work at the North Pole with smiles. So having Rudolph jokes out there and sometimes Santa's riddles all makes it joy for all of us, okay? So let's see. We've got a couple audio messages from some of the kids. So let's listen up, everybody. Here's one of them.
Hi, my name is Maverick from Scottsdale, Arizona. Santa, who's your favorite soccer player?
Oh, my favorite soccer player. Well, you know, I love all of the soccer teams, both here in the United States and over in the UK and around the world. You know, and we've got lots of soccer going on here in the United States this year. I think we've got a World Cup coming and all kinds of stuff. But I have to tell you, my favorite player of all time is the GOAT, you know, David Beckham. And I'll bet a lot of you like Beckham also. He was fantastic, and we still look at all the records he's done. And he did so much for the sport. And he still does. So again, David Beckham would be my number one.
Santa, do you like swimming?
Do I like swimming? Yes. And you know what I'm an expert at? The cannonball. Yes. Now, you won't believe it, but Santa also likes diving off diving boards. Oh, yes, I'm really good at that. You know, I love it a lot. And, of course, Mrs. Claus and I do like to vacation. And, you know, we're at the North Pole so much. So sometimes we like to go to the warmer climates. Sometimes we'll go to the Caribbean where there's warm water and we get to go swimming down there and snorkeling and seeing all the fish and things like that. And but when I'm up in Alaska and I'm in the areas, you know, near the North Pole, sometimes I'll go out and I'll get to see the whales, and I get to go swimming with the whales. Yes, I put on a wetsuit and I get in the water. Sometimes the elves kid me. They say I look like a whale. But anyway, I enjoy swimming. I enjoy having a good time swimming. It's good exercise, by the way, good physical fitness, you know, getting out there and moving the body. And I have to keep in good shape, you know, so that I can deliver all those toys on Christmas Eve. Wow, those were great letters we got from all of you. I appreciate your letters and your audio messages that you've left on the website. So again, we'll try to give you all the answers we can as you call in each week and you see what we're doing. But now it's time for us to get quiet. I want you to get, because we're going to listen to the spirit meter. Okay? So be very quiet. Listen up. There it is. It's getting louder. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love the fact that we're going to have the best Christmas ever because there's so much spirit coming in from all of you. You're doing wonderful good deeds. You're helping out around the house. You're being kind to people. And all of those things lead to giving us more spirit energy, making the spirit meter go higher and higher. And of course, once it goes higher and higher, then we're very lucky because that extra strength gives me more power on Christmas Eve when I have to fly around the world. So thank you, everybody, so much for all of that. Now, of course, the good deeds are what helps make that meter go up. And so let's talk about last week on your good deeds. Last week, I asked you to do a chore without being asked. Did you do that? I hope some of you did that because that is a wonderful thing you can do to help out around the house, do your chores. But how about doing your chores without somebody asking you? That is a good deed. That's almost like secret giving. It has a special magic to it. So do a good deed without being asked. Now this week, we're going to have a different challenge for you, a different deed. So this week, I got to talk about something else. This time, what if you helped out doing the laundry? You know, in other words, sorting the socks or helping folding up your clothes or something like that. Could you do that? Could you help out your parents, you know, when the laundry comes out of the dryer or when you take it down from the line to be able to fold it up, to take your socks and, that socks are a fun one. It's matching up the socks that's important. You know, I don't know why every time I do that, I end up with one sock and I can't find the match. I don't know where it went. You know, but again, matching the socks is very important, putting them together so that, you know, when you get ready to get up in the morning, you've got your socks all together. So again, help out folding clothes and putting your socks and things together. Can you do that? That will be your good deed for the week. Okay? Okay? And of course, if you do that, that will help the spirit meter go up. Great. I'm glad to hear that. Our spirit meter is running so much right now, and I'm hearing that little bits of, maybe some of you have already started those good deeds. That's great. It's very important that we have that. Well, my pals, that's about it for today. We've had a great time talking about sports and your good deeds and things like that. But it's time for one last piece of cheer, and that's my riddle. Every week I have to give you a riddle. Are you ready for this week's riddle? Okay, this week's riddle is really a fun one. Here it is. I want you to listen up. I pop up in winter, soft and white. I cover the ground and I sparkle at night. You can make me into a ball or a man. What am I? Take a guess if you can. Okay, you got that? Well, try it again. I pop up in the winter, soft and white. I cover the ground and I sparkle at night. You can make me into a ball or a man. What am I? Take a guess if you can. Well, keep spreading the joy and kindness, everybody. It's very, very important. And I'll talk to you next week on Santa as a podcast. Okay, go long.
Santa's coming, Santa's coming.